All right, so happy 2026. I decided to review or revisit my Rush tier list, the album tier list that I made back in 2025, around the same time it was the start of the year. Um, was able to get my Spotify Wrapped to show how much of a dedicated fan that I am. So I'll throw that up on the screen if I can frickin' find a picture of it. But I believe my most listened to album was A Farewell to Kings that like kind of dominated the charts all last year. And then I had a bunch of follow-up albums of Counterparts, Fly By Night, Presto, and Geddy Lee's uh, solo album, My Favorite Headache. I also read Geddy's autobiography last year, which was freaking awesome, My Effin' Life. I know he published it a few years back, but I finally got around to reading it. And all I can say is 5 out of 5 on Goodreads as far as I'm concerned. So I decided to revisit this because I feel like, based on my last tier list, there's some things that I do want to change um, on no criteria other than I just feel strongly about this. I was hemming and hawing about so many freaking albums on the last tier list, so figured I would just start again from the bottom. And I also decided that I would like to name 5 of my favorite songs per album. Uh, Give me a little bit more passion uh, as I go through these. So I'll start from the very beginning all over again, starting from 1974's Rush debut album. Unfortunately, I'm still going to throw this one at the bottom for the same reasons as before. It was Neil Peart wasn't there. Rest in peace, my beloved. But alas, it's still a great album. Listened to it a lot this past summer. It was very much just like a radio play while I was driving around in the summer. 5 songs I really love. I think my number one has to be Finding My Way, like the very first song. That is a song that just gets me freaking pumped. But of course, I really love Working Man and Before and After as well. Those two like round off the album so perfectly. And then in terms of just fun ones I do like, Take a Friend and What You're Doing. It's not an album that I really pull out when I want to listen to Rush. I have to really be in the mood to listen to this one. But I mean, what can you say? It was their first album. Um, Next, I will go place Fly By Night, which I believe last time when I ranked it, it was kind of around like upper mid tier. I feel pretty much the same way about it, even though it was one of my most listened to albums this past year. It fixes a lot of the problems that I have with the first album, namely that, Neil Peart is here. They do a little bit of their fantasy writing here with it as well. Um, 5 songs off this album I say I really like. I think my favorite, and it's gonna be a weird one for my favorite, but definitely my favorite song on this album is the second track, Best I Can. And it it's not really a song that anyone ever talks about, let alone on this album. I think like By Tor and the Snow Dog, Anthem, and Fly By Night kind of take the cake as far as this album's concerned. But I don't know. It's just a fun song. I like singing it, and it just all around sounds a lot of fun. Basically all I can say about it. I really like Anthem, the starting track. That's just like so synonymous with Rush as a band, I feel, especially when they were starting out. By Torn the Snowy Dog, like that's probably like the epic track, the one that everyone loves on this one. I do like Fly By Night, even though I did learn from Geddy Lee's book that he doesn't particularly care much about this song, and I can kind of see why. Very much like the radio star of this album. And then I guess I would have to say either Making Memories or In the End. Actually, probably Making Memories, which is another short one. But I don't know. I feel like this album makes for a good driving album, honestly. Like a lot of the songs are very upbeat, very fun. Uh, don't really have anything bad to say about it. Um, I do like some of the lesser known tracks as well, like Rivendell, I suppose. But uh, I don't know. I can't really say I need to be in the mood to listen to this because I feel like I like especially last year I was really in a mood to listen to it. When I want to listen to old Rush, this is kind of like the one that I end up putting on, which leads me into its sister album, KRS of Steel, which I will put this one ahead of Fly By Night, just because I still feel that way about it. It's still barely inches out, just mostly on account of like I like the weirdness about the album, the whole medieval frickin' uh, adventureness of the whole thing. That's not even a word, I think, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like Bastille Day, The Necromancer, The Fountain of Lamneth, like those songs, those three songs alone kind of carry it. I know the album's freaking 5 songs long, but as far as like my favorites, like those three for sure. And I do like Think I'm Going Bald, and I do like Lakeside Park. So that's all I can say. My favorite song is probably The Necromancer. I don't know. It's fun. It's just a freaking cool song. They do a lot of uh there is some weird stuff that goes on, but they tell a cool story, and each of the subsections of the song kind of sound good on their own, honestly. Um I think they do get a little bit weird with some of the like the sound effects that they got going on with the vocals, but other than that, I don't really have any complaints about this one. Caress of Steel is 10 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned, but it's in the middle of the tier list just because compared to other stuff that comes above it, I feel like it's warranted. 2112, I think I had this originally in at the bottom of the A tier last time I ranked these, and I don't know. I feel like I was being a bit generous with it. I do like 2112, and I do understand the history with this album, that this was the album that put Rush on the front page, more or less. Um, they weren't really that popular until this album came out. So, but like I grew up listening to this one because my dad had given it to me when I was a kid. So I kind of got used to it. I really only listen to this when I'm in the mood, and even then, like as much as I do like this album, the A-side track 2112, the 20-minute epic, kind of carries it really hard because while I don't dislike any of the B-side track songs, my favorite one probably being Lessons, which is like the third track on the B-side. Um, the rest of the songs I feel like are nothing to write much home about. 2112 itself kind of carries it. I do like Passage to Bangkok and Twilight Zone. They're just fun songs all around. Tears is okay, and I do really like Something for Nothing as well. Like that's a song I'm freaking very passionate about actually. Um, but I feel like putting it in the A tier with the rest of the albums that were up there was a bit too generous. Cause like while I feel like it does belong there, I'm personally not as attached to this one as I used to be. It's still all around good though. 2112 the song, still freaking 10 out of 10 fantastic. We'll listen to that like over and over again, honestly, on its own sometimes. Um, and I feel like it's placing here just above Caress of Steel and Fly By Night makes a lot of sense. So after this, we got Farewell to Kings. This one was my number one pick from last year. I think with everything going on between like the U.S., well, especially with the U.S. and certain political movements happening, I've found myself listening to this one a lot because I resonated a lot with the lyrics through a lot of the songs. Um, it's just I don't know what to say. It's honestly such a freaking great album. My favorite song on it, it's probably either Cygnus X1 or A Farewell to Kings, like the first song on the album. But I freaking love the whole freaking album. It's so good, like front to back. I really have nothing bad to say about it. This is honestly really close to being in the S tier. I might just end up pushing it up, but I feel like I still like to listen to a few other albums above this one. Um, there's just so much passion behind it. The lyrical writing, the music writing, it's all just absolutely brilliant. Uh, Especially given the time that when this album came out, like which I believe was late 70s. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Let's see, Closer to the Heart, Xanadu, Cinderella Man, like what can I say? It is freaking fantastic. Uh, I'll keep it here at the top of A. I feel like that's pretty good. And then that will lead me into its sister album, Hemispheres, which I still feel like is an S tier album. Um, it kind of goes next to Farewell to Kings because of the two conjoining songs between Cygnus X1 and Hemispheres, the song. But I feel like I listen to this one on its own still a little bit more, and I just like the themes that go on with it a little bit more than Farewell to Kings. So I would probably keep this one at the bottom of S. But yeah, I mean, favorite song probably gonna be Circumstances, 100%. but I do really like Cygnus X1 Book 2 Hemispheres as well. That's just fantastic to listen to front to back. The Trees is the Trees, and La Villa Strangiato is La Villa Strangiato. Like, what are you gonna say? Freaking top tier songs, top tier album. I have nothing bad to say about this album. I guess the only thing I would like to mention is I would like to someday get this one on vinyl if I can find it somewhere. I don't have it. Most of the albums I think I don't have on vinyl, but I have a good selection of them at least. But I love this one so much, I definitely feel like having it on vinyl is definitely warranted because I believe the whole first side of the album is just the opening song as well with how long it is. But yeah, I'll keep this one at the top of S. Probably gonna stay there, or it'll be at the bottom of S at least. Um, what came after Hemispheres? I believe it was Permanent Waves. Um, which yeah, I know this one could be a contender for like the best album in their whole repertoire, but for me, like it kind of loses a few points just because uh I guess I kind of just got used to listening to Spirit of Radio. Spirit of Radio is like my favorite song on the album by far. But I do like a lot of the other ones. Spirit of Radio, Free Will, Entre Nous, and then probably Natural Science would be like the fifth favorite. But the thing is, like, Natural Science loses some points for me just because I don't know if it's like the version on Spotify or if this was just the studio recording version, but there's like a high pitched, like, computer techie sound that happens in the middle of the song a lot, and it kind of hurts my ears. And I don't know if that was intentional or not. I feel like it was just given the theme of the song. Um, Whenever I heard them perform this live, they never had that in there, so I don't really know if they ended up taking it out or if it was intended or not. But I personally am not a fan of that part of the song, but the rest of it is 10 out of 10. Um, Free Will, fantastic. Jacob's Ladder, fantastic. Entre Nous, ugh, so much passion. Just all of their songs about relationships, humanity, just being good people to each other. I love the freaking vibes. It's so good, and then the music itself is just fantastic as well in its own right. I feel like it loses slightly to Farewell to Kings just because of my issues with Natural Science, but like, come on, it's got to be at least a top five album for a lot of people, and I think it will be at the end of this as well. That takes me to Moving Pictures, which, I mean, I did take some time to listen to it again, the past year. I ended up like going through a couple vinyls of this one, listening to a few versions of it, and yeah, I mean, it's probably the number one album on this list still for me. Favorite songs are going to be all seven of the tracks: Tom Sawyer, Barchetta, YYZ, Limelight, Cameron, Witch Hunt, Vital Signs. Like, what are you gonna do? This is like the best album according to like 90% of people you talk to who know anything about Rush, or even who passively listen to Rush will probably know songs on this album. Uh, yeah, I didn't have much to say about it last time I ranked this, and I still really don't. Like, if you know, you know. Which, yeah, if you don't know, then just freaking listen to it, and I guess you'll understand. But it's pretty much the quintessential Rush album. That's all I can really say about it. 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10, I guess, if I could rank it any higher. Yeah, nothing bad to say. Um, what came after Moving Pictures? Oh yeah, Signals. I believe Signals did. Which I was a bit unfair to Signals when I initially ranked the album. I think I had it at the front of B tier, in front of 2112 or just behind 2112. Um, but after listening to it again, I feel like Signals is deserving of at least an A rank. Like, it's freaking Signals. I didn't really talk about it too much when I ranked these originally, and I think it's because I kind of just grew up with this album, kind of got used to it, and it was like, yeah, it was fine. I did make sure to sit down and listen to it again, and I mean, the whole album is a freaking banger. Well, who am I kidding? Like, it is just a whole freaking banger album. Subdivisions, Analog Kid, Chemistry, Digital Man, New World Man, Losing It. I guess my top five would include Losing It, because I really do love that song. So yeah, Losing It, Subdivisions, Analog Kid, Chemistry, either New World Man or Digital Man. I'm not sure. Probably New World Man. And then yeah, I was a bit harsh on The Weapon and the Countdown, but those are also just fine songs. Sorry, as well. don't have anything really bad to say about it. I think Countdown is still a bit of a weird song because they got that whole like astronaut launching into space thing going on, but I get what they were trying to do. They were there on site. They had, been to like an actual shuttle launch, so they wanted to kind of pay homage to it. So I get it. It's a very cleverly written album front to back thematically, honestly. I feel like I would rank it above Permanent Waves for sure. Um, Maybe not as high as Farewell to Kings. If not, they're probably in or around the same tier or same ranking. So I think putting it right in the middle of A is pretty fine. Let's see here. I got what came after that? Grace Under Pressure. Yeah, I will put this one probably slightly ahead of Hemispheres. This one really did grow on me. I ranked it pretty highly last time. Um, but I guess with everything that was going on last year, I really ended up resonating with a lot of the themes of this album. It's a very dark album. I think I talked about this already, but like when you're in a dark mood and then you listen to this album, man, it hits so good. Um, Top five songs probably gonna have to be Distant Early Warning, After Image, Red Sector A, and Kid Gloves. Like, and then Between the Wheels is also freaking spoken for as well. Like, well, what can you say? Like After Image, that is a song that really freaking hit me hard. Like it did really grow on me, and that was a song I didn't really know much about until I started listening to this album. I'd already known like Red Sector A and Distant Early Warning. Like they're great songs, still great songs. Um, but like yeah, it just resonated with me so much. The synths, everything about it. It's honestly a 10 out of 10 album. Um, don't really have any negative to say other than maybe I still don't really get Red Lenses. I've listened to that song so many times and like yeah, it's kind of fun, but I still don't really get get it. I don't really get what it's even supposed to be about. Is it supposed to be about like the Cold War? I don't know. But it's just like that's the only like weird one on the whole album I would say. I don't really care for the Body Electric either, but it's still a fine song. The whole album is still freaking fine. Freaking solid. That leads me into my baby, which is Power Windows, and Power Windows is still like top three for me for sure, 100%. Can't say anything bad about it. I think I said last time that The Big Money was a good song, and the rest of the album are even better than it, and yeah, I still stand by that. The Big Money, the starting track is a good song. The rest of it just freaking tops it, and that is a high bar to get over because The Big Money is such a freaking great song. Top five songs. I mean, number one for me is definitely Middletown Dreams, but I'll also throw up Grand Designs, Territories, Emotion Detector, and then probably The Big Money. I do like Marathon and Mystic Rhythms as well, but I kind of grew up listening to those ones, so they kind of like made their mark already. Oh yeah, and the Manhattan Project too. Honestly, I have nothing bad to say about this album. It's been all positive so far, but that's just because I haven't talked about the albums I don't really like as much, and that's because those happened after the 80s, which I think a lot of people in general would agree with, but I mean, there's going to be uh some trick balls in here. We'll bring up Hold Your Fire, and Hold Your Fire I will probably just throw into the C tier because I still don't feel as strong about it as I do as Fly By Night and Caress of Steel, which is a shame because I do like a lot of the songs on this album. Time Stand Still is still like a top three song for me. Force 10, freaking fantastic. Um, my top five are probably have to be Force 10, Time Stand Still, Lock and Key, Second Nature, and Prime Mover. I think that would probably be about it though. Like the other songs are still fine. Like I do like Mission. I do like Tai Shan, but I mean, as you get later in the album, it does kind of trickle off for me. It starts off super freaking strong, but after Lock and Key, I'm kind of like tuned out of this, honestly. And Mission I still do like, but again, it was a song that I kind of just grew up with listening to this album, and it was kind of just fine. So because of that, I can't really rank it as high as the rest of the albums, but still, if you're in the mood, it's still a freaking good album. I do throw this one on quite frequently. After Hold Your Fire, we have Presto, and I'm not sorry about this, but I think I have to drop Presto into the D tier. I can't remember if I had it at C or D, but I really tried with Presto. Like I've listened to it's in my top five most listened to albums I think in the past year, and I do like it a lot. Um, I definitely have more of an appreciation for it than I did growing up because I never really used to care much for this album. Uh, it has some really good songs, but most of them don't really make their mark like I think they should. Top five, probably gonna have to be Red Tide, Anagram, The Pass. The Pass is really good. Presto, and then Show Don't Tell. Like, yeah, it's actually kind of hard for me to pick. I do like Available Light as well, but yeah, the fact that I have to kind of like grasp at straws to find songs I really like kind of speaks for itself. So I feel like it wouldn't really land the same as Hold Your Fire. It kind of ends up sitting down here at the bottom, unfortunately. But still, uh, when did this come out? 1989. It was like late 80s, early 90s. Still a really good, solid album. Which makes me sad to talk about Roll the Bones because I do like Roll the Bones a lot. This one was a favorite growing up, but I still have to keep it at the bottom. I think I did this last year too, it was at the bottom. I used to rank this one way higher, but it just doesn't really hit the same for me anymore. I get the themes about it, but again, you kind of like end up growing past it, I feel like. My top five are probably going to have to be Dreamline, Roll the Bones for sure, The Big Wheel, You Bet Your Life, and Bravado. Uh, and I guess the rest of the songs are fine, but this is an album that just kind of it just ends up spinning for me. I play it, and then I get past like the first three songs, and then the rest of them kind of just play. And it doesn't sound bad at all. The album does not sound bad by any means, but the songs just don't really hit like they once did, and it's unfortunate because I still really love this album conceptually, and it's very nostalgic for me. But even this past year, like I would throw it on, and it's like, man, I kind of just want to change it to something else after listening to it for 20 minutes. It's unfortunate. I do really still like this album, but again, it just does not hit the same way it used to. That brings me to Counterparts. I was a bit wishy-washy about Counterparts last time. Um, I still kind of feel that way about it. I put it ahead of Presto, but below Hold Your Fire, and I do feel pretty strongly about that. Uh, I guess similar reasons as what said previously, like some of the songs just don't hit the way they do. Counterparts starts off super strong for me, and then it falls off in the middle and then catches back up by the end, thankfully. Top five songs, probably gonna have to be Everyday Glory for sure. That's my favorite one on the album. Cold Fire, uh, Cut to the Chase, Animate, Nobody's Hero. I do also really like Speed of Love, even though that song is kind of lame, honestly, but it kind of grew on me. I just, when you're in the mood for it, Speed of Love. But yeah, it's hard for me to talk about this one as well. And I listened to this one front to back over and over again this past year. And I used to listen to this one in university as well. And I really got kind of used to it. It's a good album. It sounds solid. It's just I think the music doesn't resonate with me at all. Like the themes or whatever they're like Neil Peart is writing about, a lot of it kind of just like blows past me. I don't really know what a lot of it is about. Like I do know some of the songs have to do with like relationships. I know I just freaking said earlier I like those kinds of songs, but like nothing. It doesn't really land. Alex really carries a lot of this album sound. I think. Like if you're into like Rush going back to their form of just a guitar, bass, and drums, like Alex freaking carries it. But it doesn't really hit for me the way that it used to. I mean, not that it ever really hit that hard to begin with. It's still a solid album though. That brings me to Test for Echo, which I, I might get freaking crucified for this, but I'm gonna put Test for Echo ahead of Counterparts because I don't know, like I still really like this album compared to the other ones below it. Like I find that I listen to Test for Echo even back in university, I would listen to this album a lot more than I thought I would, and it has the same problems as everything else in this area. Like it starts off strong and then it falls off and then it kind of picks up. Maybe not as strong as Counterparts does, but I still kind of vibe more with Test for Echo's lyrical writing than counterparts. And Test for Echo kind of goes into talking about religious stuff. It does talk about like some weird stuff like virtuality with like the internet, and then you got um like The Color of Right, Half the World, Driven, like all these songs just about trying your best and being like the good side of a bad situation. Like those kinds of songs resonate more with me than anything Counterparts ever really talks about. And for that reason, I kind of have to put it ahead of Counterparts. My top five songs on Test for Echo probably, I mean, it's going to be Resist 100%. Resist is like one of my top 10 out songs. The Color of Right, I freaking really like. I really like Totem. And then I'll throw on Test for Echo and Driven. Yeah, there are some songs that don't really hit like they should. Time and Motion, I never really got the friggin' hang of. Limbo, I never really got the friggin' hang of. And Carve Away the Stone might as well not even be on this album because it's kind of just whatever. But I don't know. I find that just in the moment, I throw on Test for Echo on a drive over Counterparts. It's just it's a feel good album for me. Maybe a bit of it's nostalgic. I know, I guess objectively speaking, it's not their strongest album by a long shot, at least according to Getty or Neil or whoever it was they interviewed, and it shows with his album, but I don't know. I like it. I think it's great. People kind of hate on it too much, honestly. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about it. Moving on. Vapor Trails, my beloved. Vapor Trails, my beloved. I am throwing you at the bottom of A tier. Yes, I put Vapor Trails ahead of 2112. Freaking crucify me. I don't care. I freaking love Vapor Trails. And this is talking to whatever version you prefer. If you like the CD original remix, original mix, or if you prefer the 2013 remix that they released. I personally prefer the remix, but I don't dislike the original pressing either. Uh, yeah, I did not really get this album when it came out. It's a very mature album, it's a very dark album, and it's only grown on me more and more as the years have gone on. I rated this one pretty highly last time I did this tier list. I'm bumping it up because I feel that freaking passionate about Vapor Trails. I just love everything this album's about. Not every song hits me the way that it used to. Like, I used to listen to a lot more like How It Is. That song doesn't really hit me. I usually skip that one nowadays. But I've grown more onto the songs I used to skip back in the day, like Nocturne and Freeze and Out of the Cradle. My top five songs, definitely gonna be Earthshine, Ceiling Unlimited, Secret Touch, Sweet Miracle, and Freeze. This this album gets a lot of freaking shit from so many people. Well, and yeah, I don't know. I get why. Like a lot of it's the sound. It's too noisy. It's too grungy. It's too whatever. It's too dark. It's like I can't tell what he's saying. I can't tell what the album's about. I get all the criticisms, but once you get it, man, once you get this album, it is. And by get, I mean understand. Like once you understand what this album's all about, it frickin' hits. Like it is it pulls way ahead of what Test for Echoes was because there was that hiatus and then they came back with Vapor Trails and yeah, it really shows. And that's the reason why they went back and fixed the original pressing and did the remix because they knew how much this album meant to them and how good it was. And they knew the fans deserved a version of it where the sound quality was, I wouldn't say necessarily fixed or better, but just I get a bit easier on the ears for the people who weren't so used to it. Um, I feel 100% strongly about this album. I will be a Vapor Trails defender until the day I die. This album is just I want to listen to it again now after talking about it. Like I throw this one on a lot more than I realize, and that's how I know I like this album is when I just throw it on and I'm not even thinking about it. I'm just like, I want to listen to Rush, Vapor Trails, boom. I don't know, man. It's just if you know, you know. This album, ugh. I wouldn't say give it a listen because I know some people are like dead set on hating this album till the day they die, and that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I just put it above 2112, but I don't know. it definitely is like the most underrated album. If I had to pick one underrated album on this list, it would probably be Vapor Trails, or maybe Clockwork Angels, I guess. But uh, I don't regret this decision. It's going in the A tier. Sue me. Okay. Moving on. Snakes and Arrows. I feel kind of the same I did about this earlier when I redid this freaking list. Like, I do like Snakes. I have to really be in a freaking mood to listen to this, though. It kind of, for me, deserves to be in the C tier. And whether it's above Hold Your Fire or not, I still don't freaking know. Um, and a lot of the reason is because it is a bit of a weird album. I have a lot of nostalgia for it because I ended up getting this album day one when it came out and listened to it when I was in high school, and I used to listen to it front to back while doing homework and stuff. Um, but it's just a bit of a heavy album. Like a lot of religious connotations. They talk about like control, religion, free thinking, all that other stuff that they kind of nod to and talk about in other songs. But for this album, it's kind of like the main theme. My top five, probably my number one's definitely gonna be "The Way the Wind Blows." That's like one of my favorite songs. But I also really like "The Larger Bowl." That's like a top five for me on this album. Armor and Sword, Main Monkey Business, Working Them Angels, Far Cry. Uh, it very much is like an album of the first half I will listen to, and then after you pass The Way the Wind Blows, I kind of just don't really care or know really much what's going on. Um, it's a fine album though, honestly. Like maybe it's a bit too long, maybe there's too many freaking instrumental tracks on it, but I don't mind the length because sometimes you just want to throw something on and you want a long playlist, and this album kind of fits that mark. It is a bit dark. You kind of have to be in the mood to listen to it. I still feel that way about it. Um, Coming off of Vapor Trails, I don't know, maybe this will come around at some point later in my life where I'll really like resonate with it. I feel like I do resonate with it, but it's not as strong as a lot of the other albums on this list. And then I'll hop over to freaking Clockwork Angels, which I guess Clockwork is gonna be. I think I had it at the second place last time I did this, and I kind of feel that way about it still. Um, yeah, it's definitely I feel like an underrated album. Uh, don't really have anything bad to say about it other than BU2B2 might as well not be a song on the 12 tracks that are on this album. I get that they wanted 12 songs because it's supposed to be a clock and there's 12 freaking hands on a clock, but BU2B2 they just pulled out of their ass, I swear. They had 11 songs and thought we need one to fill the space, so here, BU2B2. Whatever. To me, that one doesn't really count. The rest of the songs are freaking fantastic, though. My top five, definitely gonna have to be Caravan, BU2B, Clockwork Angels, The Anarchist, The Garden, and then I do really like Wish Them Well, The Wreckers, Headlong Flight. Like I like most of the freaking songs on this album. Like BU2B2 is the only one that kind of falls off. Carney starts off a bit slow, but once they get into it, it's I'm pretty fine with it. I like the sound. It sounds great. I like the heaviness of it. I like the themes. It's just I don't know. I've already talked to death about this album. It's honestly freaking fantastic. Very underrated, and I get why because it's the last album that they ever put out, as late as 2012, no less. But I don't know. To me, it kind of is almost like their magnum opus. Everything that they've done over the history of their band's life all kind of culminated into this one album, and it speaks for itself. It really does. So, yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with this revised tier list for 2026. Do I want to change anything? Looking at it, no. I think this is pretty much how I would rank them personally, at least for this year. Maybe next year it'll change. But for now, I think that this is honestly fine. I think after this, I'm gonna go listen to some Vapor Trails. uh, yeah. So I hope it was fun listening to me rant about Rush for frickin' 30 minutes or whatever, how long it's been. But yeah, until next time, see ya.